new cards to take a look at from Burst Protocol, which is the next core set after Doom of Dimension. By the way, Doom of Dimension soon. Doom of Dimension is soon. We're gonna have to talk about Doom of Dimension and how exactly it's going to impact the TCG format next week, because that set is going to be legal for YCS Lil, and that's already on the back of my mind of like how exactly Doom of Dimension is going to impact YCS Lil. But for now, let's take a look at these new for hire cards. Once again, blind reaction. But my hopes for this, obviously, you guys know where my mind is headed right now, and that's for hire Runic. That was a good deck. That was a good version. Hopefully these cards go into this. Man, we'll see. That deck usually played like a very small for hire package, so maybe not, but we'll see. We have a new main deck monster, Rex Gale for hire. Level 5 Wind Dinosaur effect monster. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand, special summon a monster for hire from your hand, except Rex Gale for hire, then special summon this card. Oh, okay. This is worded in an interesting way, because this is worded in such a way where the other for hires will trigger, right? All the other for hires, or most of the other for hires, there might be exceptions, they usually work in a way where when they're on the field and you special summon another for hire, their effects will trigger. But for this, it was always important. Like when you special summon them both at the same time, for example, that wouldn't work. But in this case, you are special summoning the other for hire first, and then this one after. It's the same thing with Donner. Yes, Donner is the same thing. This also gives 2 draws to Purulia. True, because it's trying to play with the for hire gimmick, it is giving you 2 draws for Purulia, I think, because you summon them both after each other. But still. So basically a way to get your big for hires out of your hand and trigger their effects and so on and so forth. The problem is basically that I have right now is I'm not super familiar with all of the for hire effects, except for like I know Donner, I know Beat searches another for hire. I know Dawnpaw pops a face up card. I think they have one to pop a face down card as well. Not sure. Like I know there's like one that adds from graveyard and stuff like that, but yeah, okay. If a card is added from the deck to your opponent's hand by a non-for hire card effect and you control another monster for hire, you can draw a card. So this is just shared right, yeah? Not once per turn. Wait, this speaking of Purulia and Max C and stuff like that, I mean in OCG and Macedol, you can just keep going and you both draw cards, right? You just both draw shit. You just push into Fuva, you push into whatever, and you both just keep drawing. Now I will say it's probably still not smart to just keep going, because eventually your opponent will just imperm this or Valor this or Nibiru this, and then basically if you keep going they will draw but you won't. But still, it's kind of a funny interaction. Okay. This is a good card. It's also a fossil dig target next to Rex. I mean the other Rex, the previously already existing Rex. Both are now targets for fossil dig, so fossil dig becomes a lot better because you can choose which one you want. So that's pretty good. It's a level 5, which some people have mentioned. So I guess every time there's a level 5 now, we have to talk about K9 potentially. But let's read the other cards first. It's a solid start. I'm not sure exactly if that's what for hire needed, because the thing is like all of the for hires already special summon each other from the hand, right? Like Beat can summon one from hand, Dawnpaw can summon one from hand, and so on and so forth. So getting the for hires out of your hand, I'm not sure how important it is. But I guess it could be very relevant when your opponent like tries to interrupt you. Like let's say normally all of the for hires can special summon each other, but let's say you normal summon Beat and your opponent removes it, then how do you extend, right? And so that's, I think that's good. All right, we have Heal Shipwright for hire, which is a link to Sea Serpent Water. Needs 2 monsters with different types, so technically relatively generic. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is link summoned, you can set a spell trap for hire or one Fandora, the Flying Fortress for hire. The Flying Fortress from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except for... Okay, you know what? probably fair enough. For a moment, I was like, that means you probably can't do like crazy runic for hire things, but ultimately I am a fan of these locks, so it makes sense. All right. On Link Summon, getting a Spell Trap or a Pandora from your deck immediately is pretty good. Some of the for hire spells are quick play spells though, right? So for some of these, if you set them, you're not going to be able to use them on this turn. I believe the one that like tributes one and then specials one from deck with a level lower or higher, I think that's a quick play spell. So if you set that one, you won't be able to use it, but okay. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish this card from your grave, and if you do, special summon a monster for hire from your hand. Then, if your opponent controls a monster with the highest original attack on the field, you can special summon a second such monster. Once again, you are summoning these monsters after each other. So let's say if the first one you special is a Donpa, and then you special another monster, that Donpa can activate to pop a card on the field. So that's good. Good card, I think. Gives you another card on Link Summon, and then you link it off. It goes into the graveyard, and you have a bonus effect on the opponent's turn, which can be used to disrupt your opponent. It does lock you into for hires though, so the deck loses. If you use this card, you lose a little bit of your like splash ability, right? It is rest of the turn, so maybe there's still ways to do other things first, but okay. It most importantly, any engine that can produce two monsters with different types, I guess, can now just bridge into the for hires, right? Like anything that puts out two monsters with different types, you can just make this, and then depending on what the spells do, you can just bridge into for hire. We have Pandora, the Fearsome Flying Fortress. Oh, this is not this one. Wait, which one is this one? Dude, that's crazy. They just flipped the image. Am I crazy? This is the same image, just from another angle. This is Pandora the Flying Fortress, and this one is Pandora the Fearsome Flying Fortress. So if you take the photo from this angle, it is not fearsome, but if you take it from the other side of the thingy, it suddenly becomes very, very fearsome. You have to understand. This is the fearsome side. This is not the fearsome side. Okay, so the old field spell, during your draw phase before you draw, you can give up your normal draw this turn, and if you do, add a monster for hire from your deck to your hand. If you control 5 or more for hires with different names, you can send this card from the field zone, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Also your opponent... Okay, this card is unplayably bad. So this one will never access this field. This is not a playable Yu-Gi-Oh card. Does nothing on your turn. You can give up your normal draw, so like that's the only thing it does, and then this other effect never comes up, because if you control 5 for hire monsters, you're probably winning already. So like this card's unplayably bad. So the quality of this card has just dropped significantly, but it's still good depending on what other targets we have to set a spell trap for hire. There's probably still some other things we can set that still makes this thing good, but the field spell, that you're just not going to play that. There's a new field spell instead. This card is always treated as a card for hire. Oh, so we can just set the new, because it is a spell trap for hire, right? So we can just set the new field spell as well. Okay. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. Monsters for hire you control gain 300 for each for hire you control with different names. Okay, that can get decently big, you know, like if you control 3 or 4 of them things, everything getting plus 900 or plus 1200 is pretty big. Reminds me of the Yummy field spell, where like it doesn't seem that broken in the beginning, but then when they summon 4 Yummies and then everything is 2000 plus is like kind of crazy. And the thing is with this, of course, you're getting a smaller boost, but the for hires for the most part also start a little bit bigger than the Yummies, so still pretty good. During your main phase, you can add a monster for hire from your deck to your hand, then discard 1 card. Okay, so this means that you can easily bridge this into for hire engine, right? Like every deck that can summon 2 monsters with different types can basically bridge into for hire by going heal, set the field spell, and then add any for hire from the deck to the hand. You do have to discard a card, but still. If a face-up monster for hire you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special a monster for hire from your deck. Okay, so this is, I think, in the modern day and age of field spell cards, this is honestly it's like an average, slightly below average field spell, I would say. You know, we've definitely seen better, but it is fine. You know, it is a consistency piece, although you do have to discard a card, which is not ideal. You get an attack boost, and you get like another bonus effect down here that is going to be something your opponent is going to have to play around. So it's good, but it's not like broken. And then we have Storm for hire, another quick play spell, which makes the fact that they made this thing set the spell trap really awkward, because I think a lot of the for hire spells are quick play spells, the good ones at least. We have Storm for hire. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If you control no monsters, special a level 4 or lower monster for hire from your deck. Then, if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters, you can special a monster for hire from your deck. Oh, okay, what? Okay, that's good. That's crazy. It does lock you into for hires, but that's a really, really good card. So you can't use it to extend. You have to use it as a starter, but it is a really, really good starter. You summon from deck, and then if you're going second and your opponent already has monsters, you get 2 monsters from your deck, which is crazy because they are summoned after each other, which means that, like I said earlier, a lot of the for hires have an effect that triggers when another for hire is being summoned. So you can like special summon Beat as the first one, and then special summon another for hire afterwards, and that will trigger the Beat to search another for hire to your hand. So like you get like crazy board presence, and you get the card back in hand as well. So pretty good. If your monster for hire would discard a card to activate its effect, you can banish this card from your grave instead of discarding one of those cards. Ooh, okay. So this is, I believe, for hire has a spell trap negate. I believe that's Wiz for hire. I forget if they also have a monster negate. I think they did. I think they had a monster and a spell trap negate. But here's Wiz. Oh yeah, Rafal. Yeah, my boy Rafal, yeah. When your opponent activates a spell trap card, you can discard a card for hire, negate the activation. So that makes that one free, and then you have the same thing but for monsters with Rafal. Okay, this card's crazy. This card is crazy. However, with this, you are basically forced to play completely pure for hire, right? And I think that's a good thing. But it's also maybe the problem here, which I don't know if like a lot of the old for hire cards have high enough quality for you to play this. Activate Storm, Chain Runic still works. Right. Yeah, okay. You can still go activate Storm, Chain a Runic spell, summon your Hugin. Okay, yeah, sure. It does work. It does work. Yeah, maybe. I'll marry you. You know, I'm down to try it once these cards come out. Secret Technique for hire. Normal trap card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name per turn. Only once that turn. Target face-up cards on the field up to the number of monsters for hire you control with different names. Destroy them, or if you control a level 8 or higher and a link 3 or higher monster for hire, you can banish them instead. I mean, banishing a bunch of cards at the same time is pretty powerful. If a level 8 or higher and link 3 or higher link 3 or higher monster for hire special summon to your field while this card's in your grave, you can add this card to your hand. Ooh, that gives me Drill Beam vibes. It's not as powerful as Drill Beam because it's not a quick play spell, but this gives you like insane grind game, right? Which for hire probably already had with like Volgo. Right, Volgo already gives you crazy grind game because it draws 3 cards casually. But, you know, this card for Hugin. This card for Hugin, added back for free later. then banish a bunch of your opponent's cards, and then in the grind game, just add it back. Hmm? Huh? Okay, and that's it. Interesting stuff. It's hard for me to evaluate exactly how well. I know these cards are good. These are definitely high quality cards for hire. These are good cards, but I don't know if that's gonna make pure for hire a meta deck. And the problem with runic for hire is still going to be like, you're gonna have to fit all of these cards, so you're basically gonna have a deck with very little non-engine. So it's gonna still be very dependent on how good are the runic cards into the current environment of the game, which at the moment, the answer to that is not that good, unfortunately. Even me, as the biggest runic enjoyer, at the moment, the runic combo variations are not very well positioned because a lot of the decks just have very efficient removal for what you're trying to do. So it's really difficult to actually like resolve fountain, draw cards, and then like push and everything. So my first instinct is to put these into a pure for hire deck to try and make that work, and then see if that's good enough, which I don't know. It's interesting though, because these cards are solid. So it's worth trying. And if you want to mess around with runic for hire with these, I mean, by all means, go for it. I think there's a world where that could work. I'm a little confused by the keel though. Let me take a quick look at the for hire spells, because most of the ones that I'm thinking of are like quick play spells, right? You have mayhem for hire, which is the reborn quick play spell. So if you set that, you can't use it immediately. We have rookie for hire, which is the one that tributes one and then specials another one from the deck, also quick play spell. And that's it. We have training for hire, but I don't think you're going to play that. So, like, the only thing that you can set with Keel that you can immediately activate is the new field spell, right? Which is a little awkward. Like, why did they make this set? I mean, I get it. It plays around Ash, and it plays around Droll a little bit, sure. But, like, if you already have the field spell in your hand, then this is basically not doing anything, which is a little awkward. But other than that, pretty good cards.